a GREEPOINT Williamsburg Public Affairs presentation. This is Neighborhoods Today.
Welcome to Neighborhoods Today. I'm Angel Cappellino, and my guest will be Mr. Bob Provenza, a retired New York City public school teacher. Now today we're going to discuss how mayoral control under Mayor Mike Bloomberg has changed the role and in some cases the lives of our public school teachers. But first we're going to view a music video that was written and performed by our guest that just may give us a hint on how some teachers may feel about mayoral control. So let's take a look.
Attention all teachers, attention all teachers. May I have your attention, please?
Went to school, got my master's degree to help the little children learn their ABCs. The boss man said, obey all my rules. It's all the bad kids who are now running our schools. Crucified by the DOE. I was crucified by the DOE. Yeah. Crucified by the DOE. I'm a teacher in the city. It's a mad bureaucracy. Broke up a fight, got punched in my face. Students tried to blame me, it was a damn disgrace, yeah. I tried to say, I'm just doing my job, but the principal said, you're just a teaching slob. Crucified by the DOE, yeah. Crucified by the DOE, come on. Crucified by the DOE. In the heart of this big city, it's a high anxiety. Teachers accused of getting out of line, end up in the rubber room, but just for a time, yeah. They said, don't worry, son, it's not that bad. But in my head, it felt like Alcatraz. Crucified by the DOE. I was crucified by the DOE, yeah. Crucified by the DOE. With the children left behind in a bad economy. After years of teaching, they say, you're too old. We want new people here to brainwash and mold.
Bye-bye.
Who cares about your experience? In this crazy school system, it makes no sense.
Attention teachers, parents, and students. In the event of a nuclear catastrophe, all public schools will remain open. Again, all city schools will be open.
Crucified by the DOE. I was crucified by the DOE. Yeah. Crucified by the DOE. There's no respect for teachers. It's a sad hypocrisy. Crucified by the DOE. I was crucified by the DOE. We were crucified by the DOE. The teacher's always wrong. It's a sad philosophy. Crucified by the DOE. Yeah. Crucified by the DOE. Yeah. Crucified by the DOE. With no support for teachers, it's a sick society. Crucified by the DOE. I was crucified by the DOE. Crucified by the DOE. In the heart of this big city, it's a mad bureaucracy, yeah. Strike!
Now I would like to introduce my guest, Mr. Bob Provenza. Nice to see you, Bob. Thanks for coming.
No, hi, Angel, and thanks for having me here today.
All right. Crucified by the DOE. It was quite a powerful statement. And briefly,
Yes,
for
it
our
is.
viewers outside, if you're not aware of it, DOE stands for the Department of Education. So now, Bob, we're going to talk about how mayoral control has changed our city schools. Now,
Yes.
as a veteran teacher, I mean, what were some of the major changes that you immediately were made aware of?
Well, first of all, Angela, I have to say I've been a teacher now for 36 years, and I've taught in both the private and the public school system. And the first thing we were made aware of about 8 years ago was this idea of, yes, more mayoral control of the schools. The idea was we began to realize that the mayor of the city of New York wanted to privatize the schools and break our union, and of course have more charter schools. And he had a blueprint. He did have a plan, and his basic plan was attacked, as far as we could see, was attack two main groups. The younger teachers with no tenure, so you'd have this kind of revolving door, burn them out quickly between 2 and 5 years, and teachers like myself, who were the older teachers, experienced, who were making, oogles of money, $80,000 a year.
So the ones that were closer to retirement.
Retirement,
Okay,
exactly.
the most vulnerable groups, the youngers, the young
Exactly,
teachers,
yes.
and the older teachers.
Yes.
Okay.
And what happened was, the idea was to start a file on certain targeted teachers in order to get rid of them, to, again, keep this revolving door going. And you had a file.
Okay, let's just recap, because I know what my audience is thinking. A tenured teacher under the United Federation
Exactly.
of Teachers, that was considered a lifetime job once you were tenured. So now how did Bloomberg go about kind of breaking a law, breaking away with what we would consider tenure?
You're correct, Angela, that the old days it was looked upon as, but people tend to forget that teachers were dismissed, were let go. I mean, you had to do the job. You had to work hard. I worked very hard for the past 36 years. But you're correct. This was done primarily through the new chancellor's regulations, which in the old days, I mean, you always received, again, an evaluation sheet at the end of the year, and you either received an S or a U. S for satisfactory, and a U for unsatisfactory. Okay. Now, with the new chancellor's regs, your U could range anything from inappropriate dress, too many sick days, which in some cases was justified, but what I'm saying is that even your classroom not being decorated, not that it wasn't decorated, but it had to be a specific way, and you had something slightly wrong. I saw people written up for that, and this was amplified, made into a very big deal.
So actually what I'm hearing, when they added to the U rating the list of
Yes,
things,
yes.
a lot of this sounds to me that has nothing to do with education or
Has
your
nothing
relationship
to do
with the kids.
has nothing to do with
Okay,
the children.
all right.
But it sounded good. It sounds good on paper.
Okay.
You see, and this was the way in my particular case. And the last thing was, of course, what he started was what they called the Principals Academy, which is Bloomberg decided to get people from outside the system, corporate people, business people, to come in, get trained in the Principals Academy, and then send them out and give them either AP jobs, assistant principal jobs, or principal jobs. In my case, at David A. Booty, IS 228, right here in our neighborhood of Gravesend, we were bestowed with a principal that came from this academy. Okay. In 5 years, he has dismissed, and this is on record, over 50 teachers, either one way or another. We're not saying that, they were fired, but they were forced to leave the school.
All right, let me try to see if I caught all this information. Okay, so now we have the principal of a school that was trained under a leadership academy. That,
Yes.
He came from the
little educational experience.
Okay, so he came from a
Very
corporate
little.
world. Now he's a principal of a school. And maybe, I mean, maybe that's why 50 teachers were let go, because what type of job was that principal doing if he hired 50
in my
teachers
case,
and
I
then
could
let them go?
yeah, I could give you what happened to me. For example, there was one incident where I left my classroom. I wasn't feeling well, and another teacher took my place and watched the class. I knew to do that, to get another teacher. Next day, I get a thing in my mailbox, a letter, stating that I abandoned, again, new Chancellor's Reg buzzword, abandoned my classroom. This wasn't true. Later on, of course, this charge had to be dropped because I had proof. A few months later, at a faculty meeting, the principal was having a disagreement with the faculty over a school issue. It wasn't a big thing, but teachers were speaking up against what the principal was trying to do, and I was one of them. So I knew my days were numbered, and sure enough, within the next few weeks after that, I remember being told or asked by some of my teachers, "Provenza, you're still here?"
No.
I'm saying, "Still here? What do you mean?" And which this was against the law, actually. You know, I was being set up to be put into the reassignment center, which is.
Now, let's just try. So now you're saying you had no knowledge that this was coming about.
Nothing,
So
no.
how did I mean?
They just, you're teaching, you get a phone call, come to the principal's office, tomorrow report to the reassignment center, better known as the rubber room.
And no charges, and you know.
No
you don't-
charges.
you just-
I did not know I'm guilty until proven innocent. I never received any charges. 1 minute I was teaching, the next minute I'm panning this room in Staten Island with 125 other teachers, mostly experienced teachers. What's wrong with this picture?
Yeah.
And we're all sitting around, and it was at that point where I utilized my time to start to write the words to Crucified by the DOE. I'm a songwriter, so I never had written a song parody before, and I said, you know what, I've got the time, the mayor is giving me the time, let me write the words. And other teachers, by the way, participated, lent of their time and talents to be on this CD. And what happened was, then you go for a hearing later on, your due date. And I got my own
so
lawyer.
let me just backtrack. All right, so
Yes.
now you have teachers that are in the rubber room, and the public feels that, wow, these teachers are sitting in the rubber room, they're getting paid. Could we just talk a little bit about the reality of that rubber room?
Well, first of all, Angel, I was not there that long. I was only there a few months. There were teachers I met there that were there for 2 or 3 years. And they felt demoralized, humiliated. Some of them didn't know what they were charged with. They were guilty until being proven innocent. I mean, this is going against the United States Constitution. We tend to forget that. We do have a Constitution in this country. And that was all forgotten or thrown out the window under this mayor. And people felt horrible. It wasn't this big party we were having. And what you were literally waiting for was a hearing date. And finally what happened was, on my hearing date, I brought in my own lawyer, not a UFT lawyer. I had my own lawyer from Manhattan that came in. We met in Manhattan with the arbitrator. And after all was said and done, I had to admit to a lesser charge. What I had to pay over $3,000 for, Angel, was saying the word jerk, not even to a student, but out loud. And for that, I was taken out of the school, had to pay this tremendous fine, which, by the way, was considered lowball. I knew of teachers that paid up to and including $15,000 being garnished out of their pay. Where did all that money go? The mayor has never talked about that money. Where did it go that was being garnished out of hundreds of teachers, maybe even thousands of teachers' paychecks in the past 5 years? Nobody talks about that.
Okay, so now after you pay your fine, what happens next? Are you assigned to another school? I mean,
No.
do
Yes.
many people just retire?
Well, I was close to retirement, yes. And what happened was I only had another year left. that I wanted to stay with the DOE. And you become usually an ATR, which is a glorified substitute teachers.
So again, an ATR, I believe it's Teachers in
Reserve.
So you're not actually assigned to a school. You may be placed in a school one week and then placed in another the other.
Now, that just started, Angel, when I was just about to retire. But I was lucky. I was placed in another school, and they kept me because they knew I was a good teacher. And I finished out my year almost when that came in with assigning an ATR to a different school every week, not every month, every week. And I believe, and other teachers that I spoke to believe, that the basic reason for that was to burn you out. They were trying to get me to retire, by the way, before my due time, and I refused to have them break me. I would not be broken. I retired on my terms and when I wanted. And for that, that was it.
You were here today. Well, I know that you have worked very hard to make the public aware of this abuse. In fact, you and your fellow teachers conducted a rally outside of IS 228. It's a public school
David A.
in
Booty, yes.
Graves in
Yes,
Brooklyn.
same school.
And just to add that the principal is a graduate of the Mayor's Academy.
He is.
So now we're going to stop. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights of that day.
IS 49, Staten Island, Linda Hill.
IS 49.
I'm in the rubber room 408 days now because I raised concerns.
408 days he's in the rubber room.
409.
And the kids liked him, good teacher.
No, they lied. Trust me, there's 14 of us in that building. 411 days.
You know what? I was pushed out with the human discontinuance, and I was on unemployment for 2 years.
There's a lot of unwritten stories.
Unwritten stories, people who were given money to get out of the rubber room and all that
Peter,
stuff.
give Francesco
No, it's crazy what it does to the families of those people and the students. The students lose out. My students were asking me to go to graduation and not letting me go to graduation. Yeah. I'm on my way to a cubicle where I've been sitting, again, since 411 days I haven't seen my lab. Not because I'm a bad teacher, not incompetent.
Are you supposed to be in?
IS 49, Staten Island.
Okay.
So now they just charged me with 38 charges for 3028 to terminate me. I'm an engineer from Polytechnic. I left engineering to teach kids
Were you
engineering.
a fellow by any chance?
No, I decided not to go that route. I paid it on my own. And
Well, that sounds
who's
like
getting
how it
hurt?
was here.
Yeah, but this is duplicated so many times, 1,800 schools. This isn't happening
And the
in just
problem
two schools.
that happened to me, that I'm sure happens to a lot of people, is that when you speak up and you start writing kids up and you start to complain about it to administrators, they don't want to hear it.
Yeah, no, you're the problem.
And exactly. I was.
Oh, you classroom management.
I have classroom management problems because I'm telling, because I don't want to tolerate kids spitting on other kids, or, I had a student in my class that was. Does anyone remember I forgot his name, the Chinese kid who got his ass kicked in the hallway, and rather than address the problem, the principal here allowed the kid's father to follow him to class every day. So I had this kid's father sitting in class with me every day because he was afraid to send his son back to the school. He was taken out of here in an ambulance. This principal, I don't know if anyone remembers, he called, this was the most vivid thing in my mind. D'Angelo had the staff meeting afterwards and was like joking about this kid's face getting beat so bad that he was bruised, and saying, he wasn't beat that bad. I could still tell who he was.
What?
He made some.
If you got that on recording,
I wish I had that. I wish I had a recording of that.
That's what you got to do. You got to get this guy recorded to show the world.
Well, Bob, that was quite an eye-opener. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but before we go, maybe you can share with our viewers other venues where the public that would like more information can go to.
Yes, Angela, there are definite ways that people can reach out. If you know of any teacher, or you yourself are a teacher that has been abused or harassed by your administrator, first of all, great book, The Debt and Life of the Great American School System by Diane Ravitch. This should be required reading for anybody that wants to be a teacher, and the parents. Parents must read this book. And it's a great book written by a woman that was picked during the Bush era for No Child Left Behind by President Bush, and then she just said the whole thing was a farce and wrote this book.
Fabulous.
And
Okay.
fabulous reading.
So,
and then we
was
have...
Life and, the death and life of the great American school system. Very good. Okay.
We also have several websites, including my own, companymusic.com, where teachers can buy the CD, T-shirts, a poster, Crucified by the DOE.com. We have NAPTA, which was started by Karen Horowitz out of Chicago. NAPTA stands for the National Association for the Prevention of Teacher Abuse. And we have a friend of mine, SavePortellos.com, who is right now being tortured because he really fought the DOE. Same thing, he's battling a principal from the academy, and he has a great website, which many people have gone on, called SavePortellos.com. This is something that 8 years ago, Mr. Bloomberg never counted on, and that was social networking. I've heard from teachers, Angel, from all over the country. Peggy Johnson, Stop White Chalk Crime from Washington State. She's a parent, not a teacher, and yet she's always on the phone with me.
Okay, well, again, for our viewers, if you missed any of the website or you would like to contact Mr. Provenza, please, you can drop us a line here at Neighborhoods Today, and we'll make sure all the information gets to him. Well, Bob, thank you for coming.
Thank you,
Amazing
Angel,
information and amazing story, and good luck.
Thank
okay?
you. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, now, once again, I would like to thank all of our viewers for watching, and I would like to also add a special thanks to our New York City public school teachers. I would like to thank them for their dedication, their hard work, and the exceptional care they give to the children of this city. So for all you teachers out there, we will be ending our show with another song written by our guest called
From the CD.
Give Teachers a Chance. From my neighborhood to yours, have a great day.
1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody's worried about the education, population, lesson plans out of hand. Data charts are closing schools. But are these little kids really learning any rules?
All we are saying, give teachers a chance. All we are saying, give teachers a chance.
Supervisors talking about high standards, Common Core, buzzwords, and smart boards. The old school lessons are now long gone, but do the educrats really know what's going on?
All we are saying, give teachers a chance.
Let them hear you in Wisconsin.
All we are saying, give teachers a chance.
And LA too, yeah. Parents protesting don't close our schools, but the 1% make them look like fools. And are the politicians really on the teacher side? Talk is cheap, let's get back our pride.
All we are saying, give teachers a chance. Teach. All we are saying, give teachers a chance. Teach. All we are saying, give teachers a chance.
All we are saying, give teachers a chance.
Power to the teachers.